I really started with with life first. Like I started trusting my instinct through life, and it just started building. So the type of music I make, it'd be like, no, I ain't gonna say that, I'm gonna say this, or I'm gonna change the tempo, I'm gonna change this beat up. I don't wanna say this, I don't wanna disrespect this, I control myself now instead of everybody around me controlling me.
This year, the news broke that Lil Durk found himself in deep legal trouble. The charges were as serious as it gets. Alleged involvement in a murder-for-hire plot tied to a hit on Quando Rondo's cousin, Savia Robinson, aka LOL Pav. Since then, Durk has been behind bars, awaiting trial, and there's been a lot of chatter about what's really going down inside those walls.
Super good.
Yeah, you know what? I rarely get to talk to an artist once the album is actually out.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we get to have this conversation right now. How are you feeling with Almost Healed being out and seeing the reaction from your fans?
I feel super good. I'm seeing reaction that I ain't seen before in a long time. New fans, a lot of positive.
Now, sources from within the facility have started leaking some wild details about Durk's life in jail, and let me tell you, it's not exactly what people expected. Word is, Durk's been breaking all kinds of rules while locked up, and this could potentially make his legal situation even more complicated.
Social media thing going on.
You mean like people getting the album cover art tattooed on their arms? Because that's pretty pretty positive.
Yeah, when I seen that, I was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And they had it made me wish that was my album cover.
Now, it's a great album cover, and I just want to say congratulations, because I know you've been working hard for so long, and right now, everywhere I drive in New York.
But what's really been happening since Durk got locked up? Let's dive into the facts. And I'm not just talking about the headlines. We've been able to gather some real information from inside the walls, and it's starting to paint a different picture of the man behind the music. Most of y'all know that Durk was picked up by the feds.
People have the windows rolled down, and they're blasting All My Life through the streets of New York. It's pretty incredible. That must feel amazing.
Yeah, shout out J. Cole. Yeah, like I said, that feeling just, even just to have that type of music out, you know what I'm saying, just on a positive level, is feel super, super good.
I know you're probably not spending your day-to-day thinking about all the moves you've been making in the past, but I want to take you back
in late October 2024, right? The case is heavy, allegedly tied to the murder of Savia Robinson in 2022, connected to the beef with Quando Rondo's crew that escalated after the tragic loss of King Von back in 2020.
10 years. Do you remember what was going on in your life in 2013? Because you also had, I would say, a pretty big breakout record for you at that point, just saying what you want, but that was such a different time period in your life. At that point, you were talking about feeling stressed that, police were shutting down shows in your hometown, and now look where you are to have a track like All My Life. It must be kind of amazing looking back on a time like that.
That's when things took a turn for Durk, and now he's in the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Los Angeles, awaiting trial in October 2025. Now, we've heard some things from jail calls that hit the internet. In one from November 2024, Durk denied the rumors that he's been in PC, protective custody. And this is a big deal because in jail, being in PC can get you labeled as weak or a snitch. Durk was quick to let it be known that
it's a lot can change from then to now. You can tell a big difference on just character, the music, the beat selection, the entourage. Everything has changed from that point, but that's where it started from. That's where I get my motivation from.
At that point in your life, do you remember
he was actually in Gen Pop, general population, and that he had earned a lot of respect from the other inmates. But it's not all smooth sailing. In a March 2025 call, Durk was talking to one of his old homies. And while he was staying positive, he revealed that he's been passing the time by giving other inmates stories about his travels around the world.
What were you picturing your future might be at that point? I'm sure your ambitions and your goals have changed over time, but in 2013, what did Durk want to be?
Honestly, I didn't even have a direction. I didn't even have a goal. I didn't know I'd be a real artist. I'd be doing.
Showing them the lifestyle he's been blessed to live as a successful rapper. This is how he's keeping his status up inside, connecting with those who might not have the same experiences. But here's the catch. Durk's been breaking rules. One of the biggest issues? The man's been making three-way calls when he's specifically been told not to. The prosecution's using this against him, saying that if he can't follow simple rules in jail,
arenas and festivals and stuff like that. So at that time, I was just doing it just on some local, I got the trenches on lock type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my vision wasn't as big as I would thought it'd been.
And when do you feel the vision started to change? Because on Almost Healed, I think one of my favorite bars is you talking about
how can they trust him to behave while out on bond? As for the MDC itself, it's not your average jail. It's got a different setup, more like an office building than a traditional prison. There are wooden doors instead of bars, and inmates even have access to balconies and atriums. It's not as harsh as most federal facilities, but don't get it twisted. It's still a detention center with its fair share of problems.
You know, we knew growing up you didn't have a lot. You've talked about, having to go without proper food and meals sometimes, your family, and then hearing you on the album talk about being at restaurants that are so bougie you can't even read what's on the menu. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when did your vision for yourself start to change?
So when I had This Ain't What You Want, I had turned myself in for 3 months. I went to jail for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
There have been reports of staff getting indicted for smuggling contraband, which makes you wonder about the security situation. In terms of staying connected to the outside world, Durk has kept his presence felt. His homie, Hypno Caro, dropped a track in November 2024 that allegedly featured a phone call from Durk himself. In that call, Durk gave props to his team and shouted out his crew. But here's where it gets interesting. Some fans have speculated that the recording could have been AI-generated or fake.
And I had my son while I was in jail. It was just like everything just like changed.
And did that change your
Yeah, it changed my
mindset?
whole vision, where it's like about my father being in jail while I was born. I was 7 months. I'm just like, this ain't what I want to do. But I still ain't had no goal. I still didn't know what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then Sosa just came out just had the city on fire with the music. Reese had the city on fire.
But it's not just the jail calls or music that's giving us insight into his current state of mind. Durk dropped an album, Deep Thoughts, in March 2025, and it's clear that this project is a reflection of his reality behind bars. Tracks like Soul Bleed and Shaking While I Pray talk about the struggles of incarceration, the impact of jail calls, and how it all weighs on his mental health. And let's not forget about the legal side of things.
You know what I'm saying? We just followed each other's footsteps and just went from there.
You've talked about having people like Swiss Beats as mentors.
Yeah.
And I think, what has that been like for you? I imagine it's life-changing in some ways, because the people that we surround ourselves with, I think it affects our path in life, right? There are people you look up to, you learn from, and you see different versions of life that maybe you couldn't imagine as a kid. So what has it been like for you?
The charges against Durk are serious. Murder for hire, conspiracy, and even possible connections to another murder in Chicago. On top of that, Savia Robinson's mother has filed a wrongful death lawsuit, complicating things even further. Despite all the legal mess, Durk still got his family and fans holding him down. His 11-year-old son Zayden even defended him on social media after the arrest. But let's be real, there's no easy way to defend what Durk's allegedly involved in.
Having people like that to guide you.
It's important. You know what I'm saying? To have somebody to really just like guide you to the right place. Because where I'm from is like they don't really do it like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say ain't a lot of leaders where I'm from. It's like whatever make money, whatever the quick money, if it's violence, if it's this.
This is a whole mess that started with years of bad choices, and now it's catching up to him in the most public way. To understand Durk's current situation, we have to go back to the roots of his beef with NBA YoungBoy and Quando Rondo. This conflict didn't just start with diss tracks. It's deeper, it's personal, and it has real-life consequences. It's all tied to the death of King Von and the ensuing retaliation that eventually led to the tragic shooting of Savia Robinson.
They gonna get to the money. But like people like Swiss, like my daddy, my mom, and a couple more people in my life, it's just like we got something to prove, to show them like we gonna be the difference and we gonna change the world.
And you did that, and now you're a leader.
Yeah, because if you just look at the whole Chicago, it's like everybody doing the same thing. Not too many want to change. A lot trying to change but can't change. Cause ain't no way to. You know what I'm saying? So I hope I could be a platform for them.
Amidst of all this, we can't ignore the words of Wallow267, a podcaster and activist who's been vocal about the impact of revenge culture in the streets. After King Von's death, Wallow made an emotional plea to Durk, asking him not to retaliate and keep the peace for the sake of the community. This message about breaking the cycle of violence is still relevant today.
I mean, you definitely are.
Yeah.
You definitely are a platform for them. And I think that's why a song like All My Life is so amazing, because nothing about it feels forced, right?
Yeah.
You've been your authentic self this whole time, sharing your life experiences with us. And now we see you at this point where we see how hard you're trying to be better.
Yeah.
And to help other kids growing up in Chicago be better. And opening the album with a therapy session was so unexpected.
Yeah.
But so raw, and
especially in light of Durk's arrest. Wallow's plea isn't just about Durk, it's about breaking the destructive cycles that plague communities, particularly in the streets. It's about understanding that revenge often leads to more pain, and it's about choosing life over death, family over ego.
Was it easy for you to do that? I think people coming from Black and brown communities, having conversations about mental health and, talking about therapy isn't always easy. It's the same in my family. My mom laughs at me if I mention therapy.
Oh, no, it ain't hard. You got to be yourself. You got to be prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody not going to take on to it like we take it. Everybody ain't going to take it serious. Ain't nobody going to, it's just like a career. In the beginning, nobody going to take you serious until they see you really doing it.
At the end of the day, Durk's case isn't just a reflection of his choices, it's a reflection of deeper societal issues that need to be addressed. From systemic violence to limited opportunities, there's a lot going on beneath the surface. While his actions aren't excusable, they are part of a larger conversation about the challenges facing Black communities today.
What kept you going all those years? You seem like a person, you've been through so much that you just always soldier on, which is great for the career, not great for the mental sometimes. So what's kept you going before you got into therapy in those tough moments?
Outside of just my family, just don't want to be in them same positions I was in. Don't want to be in them environments, stuck in them environments. Don't want to let my people down. The people we lost.
This story ain't just about rap music, viral fame, or clout. It's about lives shattered, families grieving, and a rising star watching everything he built unravel from behind bars. Young Ace had it all. Gold plaques, a multi-million-dollar label deal, and millions of fans screaming his name from Chicago to Europe. But now,
it's I feel like if I stop or fail, if they didn't pass for nothing, I look at all that. Everything.
And so that sounds like you take on a lot. That's taking on a lot of responsibility for one person, especially since there's so many things that you can't control. So what has it been like having someone that you can actually
He's sitting in a federal facility awaiting trial for what prosecutors are calling a targeted execution tied to gang retaliation. And the case? It's deeper than most think. It's not just Ace who's caught in the crossfire. It's the family of Malik Boona Jackson, a 19-year-old high school dropout turned aspiring producer who lost his life in the chaos.
Talk to, express all of this stuff in a judgment-free zone, like Alicia says on the opening.
It feel good. It feel normal now. I'm saying in the beginning it just felt kind of strange, but it feel normal now. I'm saying? I can just talk and be me. I feel like I can do that anyway. But I feel like the people that you talk to could turn to some negative, or they can go tell your business. So it's
It's Boona's sister who had to identify his body. It's the mothers, the sisters, the cousins, everyone. Affected when fame collides with street vengeance. As Ace gears up for his trial in October 2025, his name stands as a cautionary tale. One decision, one phone call can erase years of hard work, millions in revenue, and dreams of generational wealth. And no voice captures that better than OG Wally G.
I'd rather do a therapist than just talk to 80 different people about my personal life.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously you do that on the records too, right? You're venting, you're sharing the things that you're going through, but having, that neutral opinion must be nice. Like, have you been making space in your life to just have fun and to enjoy? I imagine with everything that you've been through, having fun.
An ex-con turned mentor who sat down in a recent interview and dropped facts that hit like a gut punch. You got 12 mil sitting in the bank. Tour checks, publishing, and you still trying to prove you real? Bro, it's time to grow the hell up. Get out the field before it buries you. That statement wasn't just advice. It was a wake-up call for Ace and for every artist teetering.
I'm sure it hasn't always been a priority for you over the past few years.
Yeah, I'm starting to enjoy it. Peace.
Fishing?
Yeah, fishing.
Never thought I would see you out.
First time fishing. Yeah, caught 2 fish. You know what I'm saying? Just doing different things. Like you say, you never thought you would see me fishing, but I just do it, just open up people's eyes to show that, you know what I'm saying? It's more than just...
Between the booth and the block, because the streets don't care if you went platinum. While Ace awaits trial inside MDC Atlanta, one thing's been constant. His girl, Tasha J, and his mother, Miss Renee. Tasha's been riding for Ace harder than most. On March 3rd, 2025, her birthday, she posted a simple message. Ain't no sunshine without you.
So much of a fan of music, like I just spend all my time doing music. So when you say having fun, when I actually do go have fun, it be like we feel just super good. You know what I'm saying? No bad energy. Then do therapy, then talk to your friends. I got one of my guys, like I help all my people around me. Cause it's like, if I'm, let me give you an example. So if I got my kids right.
4 words. That's all it took for fans to flood her timeline with love and heartbreak. Some questioned her loyalty, others praised her for sticking beside Ace in his darkest hour. But regardless of what the internet says, her actions speak louder. She was there, in the courtroom, on December 14th, 2024, stone-faced, holding back tears as federal agents laid out graphic surveillance footage and alleged communications between Ace and the alleged shooters. That kind of support? That's not PR. That's real. And it doesn't stop with her.
And one of my guys probably see his kids, but not like that. It'll motivate him to like keep his kids around more. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got motivated too, by Vaughn.
Family is really important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not always easy, but have you been able to spend more time with your kids, although, the schedule's so busy?
Yeah, way better.
Yeah?
Way better. Like, it's so important, a phone call even helps. Because you got some people just don't even call at all. Yeah.
Also on the album, we get to hear you touch a little bit on your faith and...
Miss Renee, Ace's mom, broke down in court during a pretrial hearing in January 2025. With tears streaming down her face, she screamed, "That's my son!" as marshals led him away. That moment went viral, turning into a heartbreaking symbol of every Black mother watching the justice system swallow her child whole. And while social media's been showing love, Hank Free A's trending weekly, there's been no shortage of critics. He had a mansion, foreigns, Grammys.
Religion. I didn't know necessarily that you were a religious person. On Pellico, which is one of my favorite songs on the album, you talk about praying for forgiveness for things you've been through. We've seen a little bit in the video. How does religion help to keep you feeling grounded? It
keeps me sane. It keeps me stress-free. I don't really look at everything like, oh, you got good luck, so I believe in high power.
Why throw it all away over some gang beef? That's the question millions are asking. Because prosecutors say this wasn't random. This was premeditated. A retaliatory hit stemming from an altercation in Oakland Park that left Ace's cousin paralyzed. They say he ordered the hit, flew the hitters out, booked hotel rooms, wired money under an alias. And if that's true, he's looking at life without parole.
When you broke into tears telling Lil Durk not to retaliate in King Von's death. It was so emotional because Durk, he said, I need you to come here, right? He said, we could do it in Miami, whatever, but I need you to come here because I need you to talk to these. That's what he told me. He said, I need you to talk to him, Wallo. I need you to talk to him. I said, all right, I got him. And when I get there...
He was next up. Now he's locked up. Y'all forget? He warned us in his lyrics. This ain't new. Tasha really holding it down. Rare these days. But the real heartbreak, it's the silence. From some of the people who were loud when the bags were flying in, the bros who used to post up in videos, flex on jets, stand behind him in ciphers. Many of them have vanished. No visits, no calls, no free Ace hashtags. The only ones still showing up.
I didn't know it was gonna be that many. It was like 100 of them. We in the basement in Chicago. It's 100 of them.
And them niggas, they ready to ride?
Yeah, no, they just was there,
Okay, they wanted to hear what you wanted to say.
No, it wasn't even that. They didn't even know why they was there. Dirk was like, we gonna do it in the hood.
Okay.
I want you to holler at them, boom, boom, boom. So I'm like, I got you. When I got there, I'm like, he like, man, listen, I need you to holler at him. It just so happened that when I'm talking to him, I understand, because I'm talking to a couple of them on the side, and I understand that nothing is more important in the ghetto than revenge. Revenge is
Up, his mom, his girl, a few cousins. And that says everything. What makes this story hit different is how Ace's art mirrors his reality. In his breakout track, Cold Days, he rapped, "Mom's prayed for me every night, but I still chose the pipe." It wasn't just a bar. It was prophecy. Now, with his future on the line, fans are revisiting those lyrics.
As the #1 killer of black men. He goes on to share his own story of forgiving his brother's killer, emphasizing the importance of living for family rather than dying for ego.
I'm telling them, it was emotional for me because I'm letting them know, the man that killed my brother, I forgave him. Am I a coward? Am I a punk? What? I don't know what that mean, but I knew that forgiving him mean that I was willing to live for my brother in an environment where we celebrate dying for somebody. I said, no, I'm gonna live for my brother, my grandma, my brother, kids, my mama. I'm gonna live for them because don't nobody.
Wondering if Ace always saw this ending coming. If the fame, the interviews, the red carpets were just a temporary high before the fall. Young Ace's case is about more than rap beef. It's about loyalty, loss, and how trauma trickles down from the block to the big stage. It's about the women, like Tasha and Miss Renee, who carry the emotional weight while the world debates headline.
You know what I'm saying? As I say, the rug, so we pray on. So, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you believe in, whoever you believe in, it's like if you believe in them and you've been through a lot of stuff in your life and you at a peaceful place, going to a happy place, I think you should like get more into your religion.
You're right. It creates definitely a sense of like community, and it helps you make sense of a lot of things in your life that sometimes just seem impossible to process, right? It seems like you've been working hard on...
It's about the kids who see this and think this is how it always ends. It's also a warning. You can make it out the trenches. You can stack millions. But if you never leave that mindset behind, if you stay too loyal to the wrong codes, then the feds won't just take your money. They'll take your freedom, they'll take your legacy, and they'll take you away from the very people who loved you most.
You just rap some songs, right? I'm talking about you went in the studio, rap some songs. You got that publishing money. You got the, a bunch of money. It depends on how your deal structure. You got all that tour money. You got 10, 15 million in the bank. I think it's about time to start being a pussy, man. I think it's about time to start being a... I'm just being real because, I'm not the one designed and I'm not built like that to tell you some bull.